What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Seat Radio. My name is Corbin. Before we get into the video today, I do want to let you know that tonight around 7 p.m. Eastern time, we are going to be doing our usual live stream with a twist. It's going to be called the Red Seat Holiday Special, and because you guys have been so amazing this year, we're going to be doing some giveaways in that stream as well. There's going to be some Amazon gift cards. We're talking Red Seat merch. We're also going to be giving away an autographed baseball card. We're going to be doing a ton of fun stuff in that stream tonight. So along with the regular baseball talk, we're going to have some fun as well. It is going to be the biggest stream of the year, and I highly recommend you guys stopping on by. Again, that is going to be tonight, Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Anyways, to kick off the holiday festivities here on this channel, I thought it'd be pretty fun to go through some hot takes. So what I did is I asked you guys on YouTube as well as on Twitter what your hottest Red Sox takes are, and what we're going to do today is we're going to take a look at those hot takes and we're going to see if we can decide whether or not we agree or disagree with them and why. And I also want you guys to let me know whether or not you disagree or agree with them as well in the comments down below. But before we get into that, do me a favor, make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. Helps these videos out a ton and it would mean a lot to me. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. Okay, so let's kick these hot takes off with the ones you guys put together on YouTube, starting with if the team is more of the same as it was last year. I think Alex Cora starts looking for a way out. He doesn't want to be a part of a rebuild, but that's the direction we're headed in. Now, I'm going to partially agree with this one. I do think if the Red Sox aren't competitive for, I would say, the next year even, Alex Cora is going to start talking about wanting to be out. He's been pretty adamant about the fact that he wants to be on a team that's going to be competitive every single year. And if he starts to see the writing on the wall where it's going to be, hey, we're not going to be competitive for 2 or 3 years, I could definitely see Alex Cora trying to get out of a contract. I think his contract goes until 2024, so maybe he waits it out and moves on, but I'm going to agree with this. The next one we got here is, would a rebuild be beneficial long term? And the answer to that is it could, but we're in a different scenario here because we have the pieces to not be in a rebuild. It just depends on which way the ownership wants to go. So I'm going to disagree with this for now. I think the pieces are there. I think we've got some guys in the pipeline right now that are going to have impacts in the next couple of years. So I don't know if a full long-term rebuild is really what we need to get this team competitive. Would it be beneficial? Maybe, but I'm going to disagree with this because I don't think they should have to go into a rebuild to be competitive. The next three actually we have here are all about Rafael Devers being traded. In fact, we had multiple about Rafael Devers being traded. All of them are a little bit different though, so we're going to go through each of them because they are a little bit different scenarios. The first one is Sale is in the midst of a comeback player of the year season. Devers is doing his thing without an extension, except the Red Sox are still 5 games out of a wild card spot and decide to package the two in a major trade deal to the San Francisco Giants. I'm going to disagree with this. I don't know if the Red Sox are going to move on from Sale. It would be pretty difficult to trade him and be able to have a team pick up that contract. As for Devers, we will get to in a second, but I do think if he goes into the season without an extension, you're probably looking at trading Rafael Devers. The next one is Devers is traded after the All-Star break and this team goes into full rebuild mode. Now, in my opinion, if you're going to trade Rafael Devers and you don't get an extension done, it's gonna have to be early in the year when his value is at the highest, like we saw with Mookie Betts. So I'm going to disagree with this. As for the next one about Rafael Devers, Devers is traded in a blockbuster deal before the All-Star break. This one I am gonna agree with because I do think that, again, if the Red Sox go into the 2023 season without Rafael Devers locked up, you can almost guarantee they are not going to be able to shell out, not going to want to, they are able to shell out the money for a Devers extension, and he's going to end up on the trading block. Now, after that, we have, I genuinely believe if we move Kike to second base and Trev to shortstop and get either Brian Reynolds or Dalton Varsho to play right and bring up Rafaela to play center, this team, Eric Hosmer not on it, will be better offensively than it was last year. In my opinion, yes, probably they will be, but that's first off, you're trying to trade for Brian Reynolds and Dalton Varsho. It's been publicized that Brian Reynolds' asking price is in the Juan Soto range, which I do not see the Red Sox doing. Dalton Varsho has sort of a similar range where it's going to be a huge package, and again, I don't see the Red Sox making a huge blockbuster trade like this, so I don't know if those two guys are really on the table for the Red Sox anymore. And Ceddanne Rafaela, while he had a great year in the minor leagues, I would be shocked if he came up here and blew the world away. I think that's asking a lot out of a guy who's been a little bit streaky throughout his minor league career and kind of broke out this season. Yes, the defense would be fantastic, but I would not guarantee an insane offensive year from Rafaela. So I'm going to say no on this one. I do not agree with this hot take. Chaim Bloom plays shortstop and wins Rookie of the Year. At this point, maybe. I'm going to agree with this one. I think if Chaim Bloom took the field in 2023, he'd have a good shot at a Rookie of the Year. We've got Trevor Story makes an all-star game in 2023. This is an easy yes, 100%. I think he has a full healthy season. I think he's really adjusted to playing at Fenway, playing outside of Coors, and adjusting his swing. And I think he puts it together in 2023. He's going to be one of our best players on this team. The next one we've got is Chris Sale is the 2023 Cy Young. My heart wants to say yes to this, but I just simply can't logically say yes to this one right off the bat. I would love for this to happen, and for that reason I'm gonna say yes, but logically I just don't know if he's gonna be able to have the innings to put him in Cy Young contention. FSG is happy with the team that we have now. We only win 60 games. Devers is gone and the team gets sold. Then we win a 2024 World Series. I don't think the team's getting sold anytime soon. I think they are starting the process maybe of starting to look at selling this team, but it's certainly not going to happen as quickly as this year. So for that reason alone, I'm going to say no. And I also don't think this team is going to win only 60 games. Masataka Yoshida wins the batting title. The Red Sox get Carlos Correa and trade for Shane Bieber. Devers signs a 6-year deal worth $240 million. Well, the Yoshida part I think is a possibility. Obviously, you can't get Carlos Correa. I think if the Red Sox wanted to trade for Shane Bieber, it is possible. So that one's a maybe. But as for the Devers 6-year 240, that's just simply not going to happen. He wants a long-term deal, and 6 years, $240 million just isn't going to get it done. So because I disagree with more than I agree on this one, I'm going to say no. Marcelo Myers, our can't miss shortstop, but for now, all-star Wizards shortstop. Trevor Story will shine, and Kike Hernandez is a Wizard second base. Casas hits 30 dingers. Yoshida is a stud, tears up the league, and is an on base all the time. Kenley Jansen is a monster. Devers signs with the Sox. That's a lot to unpack there. I'm gonna say I agree with most of this. I think that Trevor Story will end up as our shortstop. I don't think Kike Hernandez will be our second baseman. Casas hitting 30 dingers, I think is possible. Again, Yoshida, I think could be a stud for sure. Kenley Jansen, I think will have a great year with the Red Sox. And God, I hope the Red Sox sign Rafael Devers. Red Sox finish first in the AL East. Right now, I'm going to say no. I don't think this team is built to be a first place team in this league right now. Obviously, there's a ton of time between now and when spring training kicks up and when the actual season starts. So there is room for improvement. But at this moment, I don't think the Red Sox are going to finish in first in the AL East. They trade for Max Fried. Now, we also see this when we're going to go to the Twitter side of these hot takes. Recently, the Braves have said that they may be looking to shop Max Fried, and he is an ace caliber pitcher. If the Red Sox truly want to make a splash without having to spend a ton of money and be financially attached to a guy, Max Fried is a guy I could definitely see them going for, so I'm going to agree with this take. Chaim Bloom is fired if we finish in 4th or 5th. I honestly don't know what the future of Chaim Bloom's going to look like with this Red Sox team, but if the Red Sox finish in 5th again, the media scrutiny is going to be insane, especially after you let Xander Bogaerts walk and if you don't re-sign Rafael Devers. So yeah, I'm going to agree with this. If the Red Sox have another bad year, Chaim Bloom will be scapegoated and he will be let go of this team for sure. And the last YouTube comment we have here, Chris Sale gets injured after 2 starts. Devers is traded at the deadline, and Sox finish in 5th place. A real happy one to end on here. But Chris Sale getting injured after 2 starts, I don't think so. There's no reason for him to be injured going into the year. He had 2 freak injuries last year. He is one of the most unlucky people in all of baseball, but I think he is healthy for most of the year this year, so I'm going to say no on that one. Devers traded at the deadline. Again, if they are going to trade Devers, his highest value is going to have to be before the season starts. And Sox finish in 5th place. Well, if you don't have Sale and you don't have Devers, that makes sense, but again, I do think you have Sale, and I honestly am still pretty hopeful that the Red Sox get a deal done with Devers, so I'm going to say no to all 3 of these. And those are the YouTube hot takes. So now let's take a look at what you guys said on Twitter and see if we agree with any of those. All right, so on Twitter, again, it starts off with Rafael Devers should be traded. We talked about that already. We don't need to talk about that again. Masataka Yoshida is at least a 2-time All-Star before he retires. I agree with this. I think Yoshida's game is going to translate really well into the major leagues. The Red Sox will have multiple players in the race for Rookie of the Year this year. He lists Casas and Manuel, Yoshida, and Cedane Rafaela. I could see the Red Sox for sure having multiplayer race to Rookie of the Year, so I'm going to agree with that one. So yeah, I'd say 2 out of 3 of these I'm agreeing with. There is a limit to how pessimistic the fan base should be in December. Yes and no. I think that depending on moves made, obviously there's still time to make up for it, but if you see this constant pattern of Red Sox letting you down, letting your home players walk, not doing a ton in a free agent market that's really top heavy. So if you wanted a legitimate impact player, you have to spend, and you're watching those guys come off the board. It's okay to be pessimistic, but he's right. There should be a limit to it. Obviously, there's time to fix mistakes and put a team together. When your pessimism should be at its highest is in March, right? When you're kind of seeing the team come together, you can truly decide whether or not it was a good off season. So I'm going to agree with this one right off the bat. Red Sox trade for Adames and Jake McCarthy, and Bayo strikes out 100 plus 80 batters with an ERA under 3. Trading for Adames is something I would love to see happen, so I'm going to say yes to that. Brian Bayo striking out 180 plus batters would be insane, so I'm going to agree with, so that one gets a yes. Jose Iglesias will be this team's starting shortstop. I'm kind of in and out on this one. I actually don't think that they are going to go after Jose Iglesias. I think they make a trade for a second baseman, maybe even a big name like Jazz Chisholm or Jonathan India, something like that. So I'm going to say no to this one. I don't think they're going to go with Jose Iglesias. Rafael Devers won't sign an extension with the Red Sox and won't get traded. So this one's a little different because he's not getting traded, and this is something I could see happening, right? We saw it with Xander Bogaerts, where they knew that they weren't going to be super in on him and was hoping they could sign him to a shorter term, higher AAV deal. I could see them trying to take the same approach with Rafael Devers. So this one I'm going to agree with too. I think it could go either way, and honestly, both sides could be right. The Red Sox trade for Max Fried while not giving up the top 4 plus Bayo, then sign him to an extension along with Devers. Again, we talked about Max Fried, and this comes up a couple of times here. I do think the Red Sox will try and target Max Fried. I think it will take at least one of the top 4, I would assume, and then sign Max Fried to an extension along with Devers. If we get Max Fried here, it would make sense for them to sign an extension, 3-4 years, something like that. As for Devers, they need to get that done as soon as possible. The next one we got here is Tristan Casas is going to hit 30 plus home runs in 2023. Bayo is going to strike out 150 batters plus in 2023, and the Red Sox are going to trade for either Pablo Lopez, Max Fried, Brandon Woodruff before spring training. Yes to Tristan Casas, yes to Brian Bayo. I think he does have an insane season with a really high strikeout per 9 with that movement he has on his pitches. And I do think the Red Sox will trade for a starting pitcher. I don't think they end up getting Carlos Rodon, and I think they kind of pivot and look to trade for a starting pitcher and a second baseman. Yoshida is going to have a higher on base percentage than Soto. I'm going to disagree with this one just for this year. I think there's going to be an adjustment period for Yoshida, and that's what's going to separate Juan Soto from Yoshida, but I do think they're going to be top 2 or top 3 in their respective leagues. Brandon Drury and Jurickson Profar sign with the Red Sox to cap the free agent spending. I could see the Red Sox doing something like this, where they go after maybe lesser known guys who they can plug in here or there, utility type players who they've loved over the past couple of years. So yeah, I'm going to agree with this. I don't know if they make any huge splashes in free agency. The only reason I would say no to this is because they do need a starting pitcher, and guys like Nate Eovaldi are still on the board. If those guys start to come off, then yeah, I think this is kind of where you're looking for the rest of free agent, at least just signing guys. And finally, Elon Musk buys the team and buys every good player still left on the market, and everyone in Red Sox Nation lives happily ever after. I don't know how much of a fan of the Red Sox Elon Musk is. I have to assume he's not a huge fan of the Red Sox. And if we were to sell a team, I'd love to see someone in here who truly is passionate about the Red Sox winning, not just a business venture, which I think Elon Musk would be towards the business venture type side. And this simply isn't going to happen. Fun hypothetical, but not going to happen. This is a no. And that's all the Twitter ones as well. And that's every single hot take you guys had. I tried to get through every single one here. So let me know in the comment section down below. Which ones did you agree with heavily? Which ones did you disagree with heavily? What do you think of these Red Sox hot takes? And honestly, what do you think it means for the state of Red Sox Nation right now? As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor, make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Like I said at the beginning, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Plus, you made it to the end of this video here, you might as well hit that sub button. You also might as well hit that like button as well. Helps these videos out a ton, and it would mean a lot to me. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern time for the Red Seat Holiday Special and in the Red Seat.